Aww. That's our Odie pie. That's our Broads. Brody, he's a good boy. They're both rescues. Really good dogs. Here's the Coco. He's our foster child. Maybe. Don't know. He just might stay here. Yes, he's liking it here. He's got his sunspot he can lay in. Yeah. Boozer. Bo. Bo. Yeah, it's my boy. Mo's another rescue. That's our menagerie other than a cat, who we seldom see. I think Mama's getting ready to do some bacon, so.
I'm going to make some banana nut muffins. I'm going to start with a cup of brown sugar. You can use half white granulated sugar if you rather, but I prefer to use all brown. And I'm going to mix in a half cup of softened butter, and we'll beat that together. And then we'll add 2 eggs. I've got a couple of really tiny eggs from our new layer, so I'm going to count that as 1 egg. And we'll add that, but we'll beat that all in. And we're going to need 4 bananas, which are getting soft, so it's a good time for them. And they'll beat it up together here in just a minute. It's really clunking. You want to cream your butter and sugar together real well, and then we'll add the eggs. So I'm adding a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 or 2 heaping teaspoons of cinnamon, depending on how much you like cinnamon. We like cinnamon. So there's 1 rounded, and we'll add almost another one. And a spoon of our homemade vanilla. This is the older stuff. More or less. And this is our new vanilla that we just made, a little over a week ago, I guess it was. And you can see it's already turning a nice deep color. You just keep it in the dark spot and shake it at least once a week to get it all distributed. And as I said, 6 weeks minimum. I like to go at least 3 months before I use it, but we'll see if I run out before then. And it calls for a half cup of either sour cream or yogurt. I'm going to use my homemade Greek yogurt. As you see how I measure. That's close enough. I made my yogurt and I strained it, and you can see it's really nice and thick. And I'll be doing a post on how to make that soon, in the next week or 2. So we'll mix that in.
compost.
And I'm just going to chunk up the banana. And we'll mix those in. Now you can mash the bananas before you put it in, but usually the mixer does a pretty good job. I don't even mind a few chunks of bananas in mine, so I'm going to mix it up a little better than that, but it's doesn't need to be completely smooth. I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 because I forgot to turn that on, and we'll start adding flours. A little more, it's a little smoother. I'm going to add a cup of regular all-purpose flour, and I'm going to add a cup of whole wheat flour. You can use all white flour if you'd rather. I've never tried it with whole wheat. They'd probably be a little denser, but I'm sure it probably would be fine, but still, whatever you like. Recipe's versatile. We'll beat those in.
And of course, all of it's King Arthur flour.
It's my preferred flour. White Lily is also a good brand. I don't know whether, I would assume that they would make whole wheat flour, but gold medal is pretty cheap. You need to really check your expiration dates and stuff like that. If you've got a local miller, that's even better. And as always, I keep my whole wheat flour in the freezer because I don't use it often enough, it would go rancid. So we'll mix that in, and then we'll add some nuts and some cinnamon chips. So once you add the flour, you just want to mix it enough to get the flour incorporated. You don't want to overbeat it because you'll make everything tough. I'm adding a cup of chopped nuts, more or less. I'm going to add a cup, more or less, of their miniature cinnamon chips. Completely optional. You could add chocolate chips instead if you wanted. I love the Prepared Panties cinnamon chips. They also have excellent cocoa, and they have excellent other products as well. You'll find them online. And I don't know if they're in Utah or Idaho, but I know they're out there somewhere. But they're very tasty. Stir those in by hand. As I said, you don't want to overmix. Now you can put these into a regular muffin tin,
Or a bread loaf pan.
or you could do it in a loaf pan. A loaf pan's probably going to take you close to an hour. You might even need 2 pans. I can't remember here. Makes one large loaf. Yeah, the loaf pan takes 50 to 60 minutes. The regular muffins says it makes 18 regular muffins. I would check them probably. I would start at 15 minutes. I'd say they probably would take between 20 and 25 minutes, but we're going to do mini muffins.
Oh yeah, bite size.
And there are still some chunks of banana in there. I'm going to spray my mini muffin tins, and we'll start dropping them here. These are non-stick pans, but I still spray them just to make sure they really pop out. Just a spritz in each cup. More for the bottom than anything. I'm gonna kill him. Dog is being a pain in the butt. I've got a 1 tablespoon scoop. It just makes portioning so much easier. You can just use a tablespoon. So it doesn't have to be level. You can have a good sized scoop because you want to pretty much fill these. So there's pan 1. And we'll fill pan 2. So I'm going to put this in the oven while I'm scooping the other one. I'll check it at 15 minutes and we'll see where we go from there.
Right middle of oven.
And we'll just keep scooping away. Move my trays up a little. And get the second tray in. And I'm going to have enough left over for a few more. I've got a small tin, and we'll put some in that.
Yep, just a couple more.
So it's been about 15 minutes, more or less. I forgot to set the timer, so I think it's been 15 minutes. And they are done. So what I'll do is I'll let them sit in the pan for 5 minutes, and then we'll dump them out on the cooling rack. This is the cooling rack that I got from Prepared Pantry. I love that place. It's an excellent cooling rack. I actually have 4 of them. So we'll cool them on there, pop them out of the pan and cool them on there, but we'll let them sit for a few minutes. And I'll just take a knife and loosen around the edges if it needs it. I think only the big one might, but the rest of them should pop right out. I'll just flip them upside down. Gotta do it kind of quickly so they don't fly. I loosened them up around the edges with a knife. And then I just turn them back over and let them cool. My third tray, I got a total of, let's see, there was 11 in the last one, so it's 59 I got a total of.
Good stuff.
Yep, they're very tasty. You want them cool just a little bit before you grab them because they are so hot and they've got the chips in them that'll burn you, but they're good while they're still warm, or they're good cold. Just store them in an airtight container and they'll stay fresh for a few days if they last that long.
Hello, ladies. Hey, George. Just a little homestead update for today. Got 2 out there. Had 1 in the garden earlier. They're happy as can be. Anyways, catch you later. Peace out.